In 1975, Kiwi symphonic rockers Zaragon released their second album, Scented Gardens for the Blind, and from it, the epic title track. Okay, that Hammond organ with sort of a Marshall precision. You know what this is reminding me of right away. Yep, three guys from England. Yeah. E.L. Yeah, kind of like a very 1970-71 English organ sound right there. You hear the counterpoint? You hear that lower tone and then the higher one? I'm wondering, are we hearing two keyboardists at once or just one really skilled guy? Let's see. Ivan Thompson credited with keyboards on this, and he's really pretty well. It sounds pretty ambidextrous to me. Here's just different speed, like that lead, that those high keys that he's playing, and then those bass keys, like.
The man came down to the city square and spoke to the children standing there.
Okay, Mark Hunter on vocals, and it must be noted that the album and therefore the song are named after a 1963 novel by New Zealand author, Janet Frame. And let's see, a bit of a blurb on that, because I do imagine these lyrics might be inspired by the novel. Let's see. Scented Gardens for the Blind ostensibly follows the members of the fractured Glace family suffering from different forms of sensory deprivation. The daughter mute, the mother blind, the father estranged, yet each living in a vivid world of their own making. Okay, we'll see if this kind of invokes some of that.
Pity those who cannot see the things that those around them share. Children waiting at the gates.
Okay, let's catch up with the lyrics here. The men came down to the city square and spoke to the children standing there, to those who cannot see the things that those around them share. Children waiting at the gates for the dawn to take them all out into fields of daylight sun. To those who cannot see, I'm getting some sense of sensory deprivation in these characters.
For the dawn to take them all out into fields of daylight sun.
Okay, I like that change right there. We go into that open cadence after those really blocky closed cadences where basically we're in we go from just simple like G C dun 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 dun, dun and then we go into those sharps and flats dun 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 like that.
A symphony of lights to see them as the strangest thing.
Okay, I like that droning, sustained, kind of fuzzy organ sound, and those cocktail notes that are going right over it.
And to hear the velvet lady sing. Oh, when will the men be back from war? Will the land be dark and peaceful as it was before? The man came down to the city square.
Very classy arrangements here. Let's catch up with the lyrics. Scented gardens for the blind, a symphony of lives to find, to see them as the strangest thing, and to hear the velvet ladies sing. Oh, when will the men be back from war? Will the land be dark and peaceful as it was before? Huh. Yeah, I don't know about Kiwis. Then again, I don't know what war they're referring to here.
And spoke to the lady standing there. Do not weep from behind your wall, or languish in the waterfall.
Okay, now this is very gardeny. Okay, this band, for this type of music, coming from New Zealand, sort of an unlikely place, admittedly. There were a few bands kind of inching this way, but it took time for styles to filter down and for technology and the right kind of instruments to filter down. Like there's this old urban myth, I guess, that only one mellotron made it to New Zealand. Anyway, they've got the kind of like classical control, the timing, the very careful playing, very organized. At the same time, it sounds kind of lean. Each section, it seems like I'm only hearing maybe like three layers, and but they're making the most of them. So they're playing within their means, and yet they're really there's an effort to just play up to the ultimate of their abilities here. Okay, what am I hearing here? I'm hearing like basically kind of like two guitars. I'm hearing like acoustic. I'm hearing almost kind of like a harpish type sound. And I'm hearing a little bit of reeds coming in and that cymbal. And that bass.
Shadows standing, willows weeping, watching windows in the nightfall. Birds call, ladies fly away.
Okay, this is like the most kind of complex passage so far in terms of tonal colors and layers. I like earlier on the track, like I emphasized the leanness because it wasn't quite giving me the kind of kaleidoscopic feel that I get from, say, some of Eddie Offord's productions from around this time period, like Relayer, those albums, Tales, that are like so dense and so layered and so full of like sounds that you gotta listen for.
Shadows standing, willows weeping, watching windows in the nightfall. Birds call, ladies fly away. Nightfall, birds call, ladies fly away. Nightfall, birds call, lights are burning low.
It's so I'm just so impressed how this band could master so early in their career this folksy side of it. Like you would think, considering that like some of the direction that they ultimately went in soon after this album, you would maybe think that they were kind of more into the. You would have imagined them to have been more into the rockin' kind of bar band side of like prog rock, kind of more like a Styxy type of vibe. But no, this band has quite the balance between the organ, like classical side, the ELP side, and then this kind of folksy thing going here. Where are the lyrics going? Okay. The men came down to the city square and spoke to the ladies standing there. Do not weep from behind your wall or the waterfall. Shadows standing, willows weeping, watching windows in the night fall, birds call, ladies fly away. Pretty imagery, even if I can't really take away any deeper meaning or anything. It's just pure poetry, to me anyway. Shadows standing, willows weeping. Okay, more of what I've covered already. I really like how that bass complements the plucking. Yeah, boom, 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 boom. Like you don't really hear the plucking of the strings on that bass. It's just so smooth and.
I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone. I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone. I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone.
And good trade-off between different vocalists on this, different voices, different emphasis on words and emotions. Yeah, I guess we're getting kind of a trade-off here by Ray Goodwin and Mark Hunter, and maybe that's Todd Hunter in this passage. Yeah, and also I love how that organ is kind of echoing, kind of working its way into this now.
I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone. I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone. I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone. I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone. I remember the days of the rain, keep you were oh so alone.
Okay, now we just dropped into a different key center that we hadn't been hearing there. Yeah, G. Okay, we had been in like sharp and flatland for quite a while, so we're going somewhere now. Going somewhere else.
Scented gardens for the blind, a symphony of lights to find.
Basically, that section that we just heard, that lasted a few minutes, was basically a song within a song.
To see them there's the strangest thing, and to hear the velvet lady sing. Do not weep from behind your walls, to the garden you are called.
So refined and so much attention, like trying to like maximize every movement they have, like trying to like show us all of its sides, like how it works with lyrics under like kind of like under these layers of words, and then peeling away some of those layers and just letting like the organ figure shine. Kind of a dark, ominous, pensive feel right here, this monochordal section with that kind of bass, just sort of kind of shadowy bass. Now this is original. I can't think of many things to compare to this section right here with that reed just kind of beckoning in.
Children waiting at the gates, we left the kingdom after rain.
This band's playing within their abilities, and I just cannot think of many English bands from the time period that would have been quite this refined. Most of the English bands at this point wouldn't have been able to go this far without trying to really throw a lot of notes in, and so someone would have had to have come in and shown off at some point here, like. so different from that last section we were hearing, that folksy section. We got this kind of like ominous section, this dark, we covered a lot of ground in just, about 7 minutes.
Gardens for the blind. Scented gardens for the blind. Scented gardens for the blind. Scented gardens for the blind.
Huh. And then it just stops. Goes out on that repetition of that chorus line. And so what did we have here? We had that kind of blocky, like classical rock beginning, very much in the ELP vein. And then we go into that folksy number, and then we end up here. It's almost like kind of like a 3 movement. I'd have to go back and then there were a few things in the first few minutes that connected, say, part 1 and 2 or the beginning anyway. Like, I guess kind of like 4 parts really, yeah. And yeah, Dragon, Scented Gardens for the Blind, from their 1975 album of the same name. Yeah, 2 albums in this vein. This one particularly strong. Before the year beforehand, they put out Universal Radio. A bit more kind of sprawling, that one. It had its moments, but they really tightened here. And then over the next few years, they would change to more of kind of like a piano pop, soul pop sound, and it's some all right recordings that were, and kind of made inroads into the U.S. market too. Yeah, this time in the right direction. Yeah, really good track from them. Oh, Zambezi, pretty good album from 1978. And then they kind of fell apart and then got back together. They were quite a hard-living bunch, these guys. And for a while, I think they were, when there was talk of a Kiwi invasion of the Northern Hemisphere, they were portrayed as kind of like the raunchy, dirty Rolling Stones to the clean Beatles of split ends. Yeah. Anyway, but then again, you've had a lot of kind of like rival acts over the years who tried to like mirror the Beatles Stones thing. Yeah. Anyway. For more Rubies and Sapphires from the catalog of Dragon, see the directory of albums from acts from Australasia, linked in the description below. Yes, bands, about 400 albums of bands from Australia and New Zealand from the 70s and 80s. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, share the video, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the track we just heard. The lyrics, if they made a bit more sense to you, or you could relate them to the novel if you're familiar with the novel. And the instrumentation, the layers, the counterpoint, the sections, and all that. Yeah. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.